If I'm meeting with my legislator and my legislator says to me, changing TRS to a defined contribution plan won't affect me, won't affect my monthly annuity, it's only going to affect future retirees, why do you care? What can I say to something like that?
Well, we need active employees making contributions into this teacher retirement system. This is an ongoing retirement system, and matter of fact, the teacher retirement system says we are in the forever business. So it's very difficult to manage a retirement plan that does not receive contributions from people who are actively employed. It would be the same as saying that we want to keep Social Security, but we don't want to have any current workforce members paying into the plan. It doesn't work. And so we need those contributions coming in. Not only do we need those contributions coming in for the retirement system in order to make it work for current retirees, make it work for future retirees, but we need a good teacher retirement system to be in place to attract people to this field of public education.
If my legislator says transitioning TRS to a defined contribution plan or another type of retirement plan would be cheaper for the state of Texas and for taxpayers, what kind of response can I give to that?
If we were to transition our pension system, which is an incredibly expensive thing to do, and go to something like a 401k or a cash balance or a hybrid, the federal government would look to Texas very seriously and start talking about mandatory Social Security. Some people think that just because we transition these plans or talk about transitioning, it may be the silver bullet that they would really like to adopt to solve whatever issue they may have. But we have transition costs where the retirement system would have to more than likely start paying into Social Security. That cost alone would be hundreds of millions of dollars more to the taxpayer. Not only that, but we would probably have folks who in a transition would want to move those dollars out of the retirement system and could potentially spend them on anything else that they would rather spend it on instead of rolling it over into a defined contribution plan. So there are really no good models to use in saying that by making a transition we can save the state a lot of money. We won't. So these are not simple issues. The best approach is to realize what we have, which is a well-funded, well-managed retirement plan, and fund it appropriately.
What if my legislator says other states are transitioning from a defined benefit plan to a defined contribution plan? Why shouldn't we?
Is that state already paying into Social Security? Most of our retirees and a lot of active school employees know that Texas TRS is one of about 14 state teacher retirement systems in the country that do not pay into Social Security. So again, we have this problem of trying to coordinate or work around Social Security. Our TRS was created in 1937. It's been well funded ever since then. In the last 5 years alone, they've made billions and billions of dollars on their investments. And so our retirement system is a very good standalone option that provides retirement security for a lot of folks. Unfortunately, other states have not managed their retirement systems perhaps as well as they should have. And 10, 15, 20, even 30 years ago, state legislatures were promising benefit payments to active school employees and to retirees, and they would take the money from the active school employee, put it in the retirement system, but they wouldn't actually make matching contributions like they said they would 10, 20, 15, 30 years ago. And today, those state legislatures and people who are trying to promote a 401k or a defined contribution plan don't generally talk about the responsibility issue from generation ago when they should have been putting money into the retirement system and they didn't. In Texas, for 75 years, our members have paid in every year. The state has paid in every year. We've never missed a payment to the retirement system, and we've never missed a payment to our retirees. There is no crisis in Texas.
If I'm meeting with my legislator and my legislator says, you're getting your annuity check every month as we promised you, Texas never promised you a raise, what kind of response can I give to that question?
From time to time, we will have a conversation about whether or not retirees deserve a raise. This has really been an argument, again, that we've talked about in the last decade or so. The legislature had some funding issues that could have been addressed better after 2001. We did not see rate increases contribution increases to the retirement system occurring like they maybe should have after 2001, and that's made it more challenging to plan for benefit adjustments. Prior to that, from about 1995 through 2001, Texas pioneered something called the Consumer Price Index Catch-Up. No other state in the nation has ever done a program like this before. They have traditionally looked at retiree benefits over decades and said, hey, let's make some adjustments. Let's give our retirees a little bit more in their annuity benefits. This idea of the legislature being stingy or not supporting the idea of giving retirees a raise, it's not really traditional in Texas. It's just because of circumstances in the last decade or so. I think if we have the right planning and we make the right kind of contributions, we can give retirees a much-needed benefit adjustment.
If my legislator says, look, I know you need help, I'd love to be able to help you, but Texas cannot spare the money from the general revenue fund right now to give that money to the TRS fund. What sort of response can I give to that statement?
Yeah, this is a very interesting discussion because sometimes we think it's better to save $1 today and put it into something else. And the real problem with that is that $1 today in pension terms may be worth $10 or $12 down the road. There's an exponential growth factor here that when we choose to not put money into that retirement system, it's really costing us a lot more money down the road. And as we've already said, these pension systems are in the forever business. We are planning for retirement benefits for people who are just starting their teaching career. Right now, the Texas teacher retirement system and its benefit programs for current retirees, well over 300,000 retirees and over 1 million people in the classrooms, that is about 2% of the state budget. So as much attention as this issue is getting these days, we're talking about 2% of the state budget, and the more that we do today, the much better off we're going to be in the future. Again, we can go back and reference those states that chose not to put the money into the retirement system 30 years ago. And they're today having problems saying, how are we going to be able to keep these benefit programs in place? They made the mistake then by saying, we're not going to make this a priority. So far in Texas, we've done a better job, but we could do better.
If my legislator says, I'd love to be able to help you, but I can't, because the Attorney General said in 2009, when the legislature was trying to provide a supplemental payment for retirees, that I couldn't do it. How can I respond to that?
The Attorney General did not say we cannot, as a state, provide supplemental payments to retirees. What the Attorney General did say was that he could not render a conclusive opinion on an issue. And that may seem like cutting words and trying to make something out of nothing, but really what it says is the Attorney General is not a judge and a jury. And the legal standard that was set by the Texas legislature in asking the question the way they did presented an issue for the Attorney General in that he couldn't answer it. The Attorney General said very clearly in his statement, there are ways to provide supplemental payments, and the legislature knows how to do it, and we can help the legislature understand how to get it done.